What's up, my friend? Are you a small business owner that loves God, family, country, and capitalism? If so, you are in the right place. Welcome to the War Plan Briefing. My name is Joshua Latimer, and today I have a message for you. And here's the message. Stop trying to get rich and do this instead, right? Now, what am I going to say? Ooh, it's mysterious. It's powerful, and if you stay for just a couple minutes, it might change your life for the rest of your life. When I was in 5th grade, that was the first year I started trying to play football. In the entire football season, I don't think I played 2 plays. You know, I was the kid on the team that went in at the very last 10 seconds of the 4th quarter, so I could do 1 snap. They put me at nose guard. I weighed 100 and nothing pounds, right? And I had perfectly white football pants. And if you played football, you know, the kids that have all the clean pants, they're like not good at football. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, A for effort, way to join a team, cool for you, extracurricular activity, but definitely not good at football. You should have stained, filthy, blood-soaked pants if you're awesome at football. And that whole year, it was very discouraging. I was scared. I had no confidence. People like would make fun that I'm the kid on the sideline with the white pants. Like, that's where I learned about the white pants, where I got the trauma from the white pants trauma from people picking on me. But, you know, I still wanted to play. And so in 6th grade, I did it again. Still pretty terrible. My pants were pretty white, but less white than in 5th grade. And it kept progressing. By the time I got to 7th and 8th grade, middle school football, I had grown a little bit more. I had like one of those weird little dirt mustaches starting to poke through, a couple zits coming out, the testosterone was flowing. And with that confidence, with my insides changing, with my confidence changing, because I understood the game better too, I got more bold. I started getting more aggressive. And by the time I was in 8th grade, I was the quarterback of the football team, which is pretty crazy. I stayed quarterback all the way through high school. I won, you know, most valuable player on my team. But don't look, we weren't very good, okay? But I was the most valuable on a team that was terrible, which is still pretty cool. The point though is this, is that I had to change on the inside. I had to grow from the inside out to get things to work. And when I see people trying to get rich, what they're doing, because I want you to be rich, and you're going to be rich, okay? You live in the best time in human history to get rich, okay? Like, we're good, everything's okay. But when you try to get the wealth, and that's the thing you're focused on, you're just doing it wrong. And you're trying to like chase the wind, sort of, right? Imagine you're in this sailboat and you're just bouncing around in the Gulf of Mexico. You don't really, you're just trying to get like rich, whatever that means. We need more clarity on that. And there's things that have to happen with you. You know, when you're newer in business and you don't have all the answers, you act out of fear, right? Maybe even before you act out of fear, you act out of desperation. And if you're really desperate, you will get an initial result. But then you might like not want to mess it up and you go slow, and 10 years can go by and you still have a pretty small company and you're not really living to your full potential. So what do? Should you try to get more money? Does it mean on January 1st, on New Year's Eve, that you write a bigger goal on the piece of paper that you're just going to throw away by February 1st? No, you have to level up. You have to become more. Myron Golden has this awesome teaching about, it's called Be, Do, Have, right? And it's like, who do I have to become so that I can effortlessly do what's required, which will automatically yield me to have what it is I'm supposed to have. I'll say that again for the people in the back. Who do you have to become to effortlessly do what needs to be done, to automatically have what it is that someone like that should have? That's the game. It's who you become on the way. My wife always says, Josh, we have to find joy in the journey. The reward is the work itself, right? And that's true. I think if the 21-year-old version of myself watched this very YouTube video, I probably would have already clicked off in full transparency, because this isn't the thing people want to hear, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's true. So here's some things I want to talk about. I got 6 things on this list, and focus on these 6 categories of things: leveling up yourself, becoming more, you know, transformation, not just confirmation, like being conformed from the world, and your life will change forever. You will make more money. The wealth happens as a natural byproduct of you becoming more, of you becoming a bigger value producer, et cetera, et cetera. The first category, of course, is business, becoming an actual CEO. Now, you might have 1 employee or 2 employees. You might feel like you don't know nothing, but you have to start behaving or acting as if you are a CEO right now, because I got news for you. You are. It's not someday in the future, maybe I'll give myself the job title of CEO. You're Chief Everything Officer. You're changing your own oil and changing your own brake pads, and you're doing customer support and bank deposits and administrative stuff, and you're doing the work. You're doing everything, right? but start behaving and practicing, modeling what the $10 million CEO version of yourself would look like. You know, when I first started public speaking, I would use this technique called totems. And I'm an introvert, and I was horrified to get on camera, number one, but even worse to be in a live crowd of people. All I got here in the studio is my friend Will. It's not that bad to get on camera. But to speak in front of a crowd would be insane, right? So I used totems. What I did is I had a really fancy watch that I would only wear when I would go speak. And when I wore this watch, it was its own secret thing to myself. I didn't tell people about it. When I put on the watch, I became a different version of Josh. The truth is that $10 million CEO version of you, he's already in you. Let him out. Let him come out to play. This is how children model their parents. They start behaving and acting as if. They act like they see their father act. Act like the $10 million version of yourself now in little ways. The ways that you run meetings, the way that you sell, the way that you market, the way that you want to cut out of work early, but you don't, and you update that spreadsheet and that KPI spreadsheet before you leave because that other version of yourself would have. It's almost like method acting, where you're playing a character, but it's not a fake character, it's the future you, okay? And when you do this, you'll literally show up as a different person. And as you level up and become a CEO and you understand your numbers and all these things, your business will catch up to you. It's going to catch up to your brain and what your identity is. You know, your revenue in your company is a lagging indicator of who you have become, right? It will catch up. If your business gets too big too quick on accident and you haven't become more, it will shrink back down. It will snap back down like a rubber band that's been pulled up too far, and I don't want that for you. The second category or area where you need to level up yourself and become more, be do have, is with your spouse. You know, having a spouse that you're in momentum with is rocket fuel to your business ventures. It's rocket fuel to your life. You know, at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, who do you want holding your hand when you're sitting there saying, "Goodbye, cruel world. I did the best I could. And Janet, I love you, Janet." Well, my wife's name's Ashley. I probably should have said Ashley in that example. Here's the thing. What can you do right now to be rock star level spouse? Not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But what can you do now? Are you texting your wife? Are you flirting with your wife? Are you edifying your wife? How do you talk about her in front of other people? Are you a builder-upper? Are you a tearer-downer? Because life and death is in the power of the tongue. The way you engage your family, your kids, all this stuff, it starts with you. And you got to be intentional now, even though the circumstance might feel, I'm broken, I'm stressed out, I need to work 100 hours a week, I don't have time for this right now. Fair enough. If you're in a season of that and you guys are in agreement, that's okay. But there's no excuse to not lean into leveling up yourself as a husband to your wife. It's not that big of a deal. We had a friend, Monica Tanner, come in. She's a relationship expert, and she was talking about how 3% of your week can go to your spouse. And this is if you spend 20 minutes a day just talking about the day with your spouse, and then you have a date night once a week. That's it. That's 3% of your week, okay? Cut something else out that's 3%. Do that. The business is going to catch up. The revenue is going to explode. You're going to get into momentum. It's a huge, gigantic, big deal. And if you have a lot of pain in your marriage, you know what that would do for you. So let's focus on that. The third thing you need to level up in to get rich, don't try to get rich, but level up in this third thing, and then the riches come easier, is you as a father. And you as a father, literally with your kids, yes, your job's to be an effective father, not just a good dad. Your job is to raise a productive member of society who's a problem solver, an asymmetrical thinker, who's confident, who walks with certainty, who can just figure stuff out, who will represent your legacy and your last name well years after you're gone, right? That's your job. But you also need to have the heart of a father to run a business, because you have people on your team that you care about, that you pour into, that you might have a long phone conversation. You might have to listen to a story for the third time and tolerate it. Give some advice, sharpen the sword. You're a mentor, right? You're a teacher to people around you. The heart of a father is something you need to intentionally try to grow and expand. Are you helping anybody right now, or do you only help yourself? Do you show up like Groundhog's Day and come home, and show up to work and come home, and then a week goes by and you don't even remember what happened? That means you don't have the heart of a mentor and a father. It means you need to be texting your spouse, right? You need to be becoming a real CEO in your company. But you also want to walk through the world with the eyes of a father, of a protector, of a provider, someone who takes responsibility on your own shoulders. And yes, you might feel like you're going to collapse, and that happens to men all the time because we carry a heavy load, especially in this society, especially with all the distractions and all the crap that is out there. But how epic are you for even watching a video like this? How epic are you for taking notes and doing something different when this video is over to actually level yourself up? Because when you become a better father to your own household and to your staff and to the world and young men that you see going around, when you become this person, opportunity will flow to you, relationships will come to you, doors will open and unlock for you, because if there's one thing the world needs more of, is effective fathers. And the fourth thing you want to focus on to level up yourself with is your community, right? We talked about being a father and your spouse, right? And then we talked about, employees in the world, but think of the communities you're a part of. Are you the value adder in those things? Are you in Facebook groups? Are you in business coaching groups? How much value are you adding to the other people around you? It's my personal belief that all of us should have a mentor and be a mentor until we're dead. It should never stop. It should go on forever. It's an infinity loop of learning and giving. You get your cup poured into and you pour out of your cup, and it's a continuous cycle. But are you giving back? Because look, one of the best ways to learn actually is to teach. And if you're never pouring out of your cup and going and helping a business owner behind you or someone in your town who's younger than you, a young father or whatever, right? If you're good at something and someone's behind you, you should be mentoring, not just for money. I'm not talking about a business opportunity. I'm talking about pouring out of your cup, because it's one of the best ways to learn, by studying other people. And check this out. Imagine you've done what I've been talking about so far. Meaning you've leaned into your alter ego using a totem, wearing a suit. You're a CEO now, right? And then you start dating your spouse and you become this epic warrior king inside your household, right? And your wife is like, who is this person? And she's skeptical at first. She's like this at first, but then you keep doing it. You keep doing it, baby. And then she's like, oh my God, my man, right? And then you're leading your children well, and they're saying yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And they show up at the restaurant and people are commenting on your kids saying, my God, how did you raise these kids like this? They're incredible. They're articulate. They're respectful. My God, which is very rare these days, unfortunately. And then in addition to that, you're online or in your industry or in your associations or in your groups, and you're the life giver. You're the life speaker. You're speaking into people. You're building people. You are optimistic and you're sharing that. Can you feel the overflow, right? Can you feel what would happen to your company? Can you feel it? It's coming out of you so that more new stuff can come into you, so bigger opportunity come in. You got to push it out so it can come in. The fifth thing you want to do is level up yourself spiritually. Now, I'm a believer. Jesus Christ is the Son of God, right? We need to preach Christ crucified. We need all these business things. That's cool, but none of it really matters, because at the end of the day, it's all going to burn, right? And it's your relationship with Christ that's going to stand forever. So if I'm talking to you, if you are also a believer, when's the last time you fasted? How often are you praying and reading the Bible? Which are these boring sounding things that's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know. But we got to actually do it. One of my favorite quotes is that professionals never don't do the fundamentals. And if you look at your walk as a Christian, there's basic things that you do to stay connected in communion with the Holy Spirit and with God. And that's praying and reading the Word. It's not a normal book, guys. Okay. When you're reading the Bible, it's alive. This is not a normal book. You can read the same thing 714 times and fall out of your chair the 715th time, because it hits you like a lightning bolt, and that's the Rhema word of God going into you. It could be a breakthrough, an epiphany. Imagine trying to parent your children and they never talk to you ever, or you were never able to get through to them because they were distracted by the cares of the world. They have their fingers in their ear. How good of a job could you do as a father with your children if they had the opportunity to not listen to you at all, even when they were little? And if you think there's a big difference between your level of understanding and wisdom and your kids, imagine how much bigger it is between God and you. So we got to get back to the basics, get back to the fundamentals. We got to get dialed in spiritually. We can avoid pitfalls. We can understand the works of the enemy that are coming against our business, and we can get insights. God will warn us. God is with you. He has good things for you. He prepared good works for you before the foundation of the world. Read the Bible, my friend, and be encouraged. But get back to basics. It'll help you a lot. And last but not least, if you want to get rich, don't try to get rich. Do these things instead. Level yourself up and become more when it comes to knowledge and overall wisdom. One of my business heroes is this guy from Australia named Peter J. Daniels. And there's still a few kind of obscure clips of him on YouTube where you can watch him speaking at churches. He's a powerful speaker. He's a motivator. And he was an illiterate bricklayer until 25 years old. And then he started studying a dictionary, and his wife helped him learn how to read. Then he went to a Billy Graham crusade, a million years ago, gets saved. He's so simple-minded at that time. He took the words of the Bible literally. And he said, I'm the child of a king. If I'm the child of a king, I can't fail. Like I have this like spiritual bankroll and backstop that's guarantees my success. So he started a company, went broke. Started a company number 2, went broke. Started company number 3, went broke. His wife begged him, please, Peter, stop, get a job for the love of God. The suffering, this is terrible. And he said, no. God doesn't go broke. I ain't stopping. I'm starting my next company. His next one went on to do hundreds of millions, international real estate company. His family has their own gold bullion mint. Wrap your head around that. He's a billionaire. He's affected world politics. He's an advisor on international charities. You know, he's in his late 90s now. I believe he's still alive. And if he ever sees this, I want to honor you, Peter Daniels, because you're just an incredible guy. He once got paid $1 million for 15 minutes of his advice. And I tell you all this to tell you this. Peter Daniels is an obsessive learner of stuff. He is a ravenous consumer of knowledge. Now, we don't just want to consume knowledge, we want to implement and execute with wisdom, right? We're all on the same page with that, but we want to know stuff. And I saw this one presentation where Peter was on stage and he had this list of like 10 categories. He had like economics and finance and history and geography and all these things. And he asked these people on the stage that he had brought from the audience up there, he said, I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 regarding your competency on all of the subjects on this chalkboard. You know, when it comes to geography, and a 10 means someone knows every single thing there could be to know about geography, all 200 and something countries and the capitals of all the things and all the different, you know, mountain ranges and the rivers and all the different things and the climates and all the if you knew everything that there was about geography, you'd be a 10. Between 0 means you know nothing. Well, where do you rate yourself? And so he's rating them on finance and on economics and on business and on investing and on geography and on history and all this stuff. And they're rating themselves like 5s and 6s. And these are just regular people, not high achievers, not bad people. They're just kind of just like floating through life sleepwalking, and he's there to wake them up. You know, I'm pretty good at geography. I'll do a 7. Yeah, geography? Yeah, 7. One of my favorite subjects. Okay, 7. And he's rating it. At the very end, Peter goes and he rates himself on all these categories. And I think the highest score he gave himself was a 2, and it was with business. The lesson here is that the more you know, the more you should know that you know nothing, which is why Aristotle said, the only thing I know is that I know nothing. Look, seek wisdom and knowledge. Know more stuff. It unlocks possibilities. You see the world in a different way. Money and opportunity is going to come. And when you're a person that has that depth of knowledge like Peter Daniels does, the guy can't not make money. He can't go anywhere without an opportunity, an investment, a business, something, a client, someone wants to pay him, because he's attained such mastery of his thing. The money's a natural byproduct, which is the point why we don't want to just try to get rich. We want to become more, be, do, have. Hey, I hope this wasn't too convoluted. I hope it was helpful for you. I appreciate you being here. And look, if you haven't yet, subscribe, click the bell, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you, hear your story. I'm doing everything I can to add value to Christian entrepreneur families just like you, so you go faster, make more money. Share this video with a friend if you think it would be useful. Until next time, see you in the next video.